bleu.
There's a big forehand.
59.
So important, isn't it, at the start, if you're a younger player with less experience, just to try and get on the scoreboard early, feel like you're in the match. That would be absolutely priority number one.
Low. Let's versuchen.
You can understand why she's gone for a big second serve there, just to try and get the groove on that shot, knowing that the return is going to be fast at the feet more often than not.
So it's a confident start from the young qualifier, Anca Todoni, on the board, and that will just settle the nerves nicely. Well, last year was such a dream run, as we just see the outside conditions, just a little passing cloud, but that won't affect us here on Rod Laver Arena with the roof, but it really took the tennis world by storm. Qinwen's run here last year, it was a dream, and when she got to the final against Sabalenka, she was certainly well beaten, but I think 12 months down the track, she's a much better player for it.
Oh, I would definitely say she's improved since last January. You just have to look at how she played at the Olympics, winning that gold medal, but had to tough out plenty of three-setters along the way, and the confidence that that builds for the rest of the season. So it wasn't even much of a come down. Still played very consistently for the rest of the season. Obviously made the finals of the WTA finals as well, which was an excellent match against Coco Gauff to finish the year. 6th in the third.
Yeah.
There was nothing in it. And cracked the top 5. And the serve is one of her real strengths, if not the strength. Right up there with leader on the ace count, Rebecca. It's always between the two of them.
30 go.
Pepko, do you think it changes conditions much now that the roof is closed?
30-15.
I do think it felt straight away like an indoor match, which not all roofs have that atmosphere, but it does here. And it feels like Todoni is feeling her ground strokes not better since the roof is closed. She just has it a bit cleaner in her racket right now.
There's always this vibe in the locker room. Pepko will know where you get a tough draw in the first round, but as a qualifier, someone will say to you, "Oh no, that's when you want to play them. You want to play them first off," and then equally on the other side, someone's telling the top player, "Oh, tough draw when you play a qualifier first round."
I've played 3 matches.
Yeah, played 3 matches.
Let it. Listen.
Well, it would be a mighty task because in the last 40 years, only one qualifier has beaten anyone ranked in the top 5 first round. So that's only happened once in the past 40 years. So it's a big ask today.
Well, you never know. That's the beauty of a tennis match. There's always upsets, always unexpected wins. And when you look at who Todoni played in the qualifying, she had 3 tough matches. She beat Lepchenko to qualify, had to come through in 3 sets in the first round of qualifying. So that really builds your confidence ahead of a matchup like this.
Love 15.
Andrea, how would you describe this court as well? Because talking to the players over the last few days, I've heard some mixed reviews. Some saying it's quite fast, some saying it's, you know, medium pace as you would expect. It all kind of depends on how you play and what your preference is. But to me, it's looking pretty medium as it stands.
It's such a great question because just as you, Alex de Minaur said to me, this is so slow, it hasn't been this slow in 10 years. And then Jannik Sinner and Steph Tsitsipas were like, this is the quickest it's ever been. So you will have 10 different opinions with 10 different players. And that's usually a sign that exactly what you said, Laura, it's medium and it just adapts to each player and each playing style, which is great news because everyone has a chance to play their best tennis here.
Well, Todoni, when she has time on the ball, and can position herself on that front foot. Even though she's missed that, it's a really positive miss. She's got a great ball strike.
Oh, great depth. Just such a fabulous athlete, Qinwen.
I do think that will play a part today, just the difference in movement between the two of them. The fact that Zhang Qinwen is so good when she's pushed wide and is able to extend the rallies.
Advantage Todoni.
Well, at 1.80 m, just close to 6 foot, you would expect Todoni to serve well and create some pretty sweet angles, and this is one of them. That really does zip off the court.
You're kind of rounding her up, though.
Yeah, she's only 3 centimetres off 6 foot. Being optimistic.
Well, I'm sure she won't mind.
Optimistic. Being positive.
But it's approximately 5'9" if you're
180 centimetres.
Yeah.
No, it's not. We'll have to go to Petco on that.
No, she's not 180 centimetres. She's 1.8 meters.
It's the same.
Advantage Todoni.
She's very tall.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like watching her move, she moves like someone who's, you know, 6'3", though. When you see that someone isn't super balanced on the outside leg, when you see that they don't necessarily have the strength.
Great ball striking, and it's a confident start from the qualifier, Anca Todoni. 2-1 first set. Well, she'll enjoy this sit down. There's been a lot happening. A fair bit goes into the start of these matches, the walk-on, coin toss, so I'm sure she'll just take a little bit of a breather here.
London, Edinburgh, Athens or Rome, Paris or Dublin, and over 40 cities across Europe. But remember, it's not just the destination, it's also how.
Time.
So a little bit of a grey start here in Melbourne, but no problems. Play goes on. The roof is closed here on this wonderful stadium, Rod Laver Arena.
Ready to play, thank you.
First round back in
Thanks for the music.
1988. It's been through a few upgrades. The roof is
Would we
certainly
stop the
been
music?
one of
Thank you.
those. And we've got a global superstar in Zhang Qinwen. Last year's finalist in action, first up here at Melbourne Park.
15. 30.
Just keeps it so simple.
40 love.
Yeah, this is a great play. That serve wide opens up the court. There's so much space for her to use the big forehand. We saw that so much in last year's Australian Open. A real bread and butter play.
Qinwen Zheng.
So it's a love service hold for Qinwen, and levels at 2-all. And Laura, I'll be interested. Do you think it's a risk for players not to play a lead-in tournament coming into a Grand Slam? Well, you think, you know, the top players, they have so much self-belief they can back themselves and get away with it?
Yeah, I think Qinwen will back herself, to be honest. I know she was scheduled to play United Cup. Should have been in Perth playing for Team China, but just felt like it was too soon. Had a few lingering issues with the body. And usually it's the ATP players who are more likely to come in without playing a lead-up tournament. Alcaraz and Sinner did it last year, again this year. But I think if you back yourself to be able to play yourself into the tournament, if you can see yourself getting to the latter stages of the event, then why not? And as I said earlier, Zhang Qinwen still played the exhibitions this week, still was out in Melbourne very early. I think came out here on New Year's Eve already.
It's big business, isn't it, for these players? There's a lot of promotional work which is expected from the players the week leading in, you know, to service all their sponsorship and racket clothing deals and all that sort of stuff. That it's become bigger.
The week before a slam is so busy, especially when you think about how many sponsors Zhang Qinwen has. It was interesting to hear Daniil Medvedev in the press conference yesterday talking about it, saying actually he values his family time more than anything at the moment, so for the rest of his career doesn't expect to ever play a lead-up tournament ahead of the AO.
Deep serve.
Cain Todoni.
It's been a good start here for Todoni.
Todoni needs
We're on
wicket
serve,
to-
and it's 3-2 first set. Andrea, was that thunder? We just heard before.
I was wondering whether that was thunder or whether it was the great first serve of Anca Todoni. And you can tell that Qinwen is still looking for a perfect return position, and you see that often when players don't know each other yet, and she will probably find it by the end of this first set or at one point.
Yeah, it felt like the 15-30 there was the chance, and just still playing her way into some form here.
A little bit of weather, inclement weather outside there, you can see. It won't affect the covered courts.
Time.
Always a fabulous day on the calendar. Day one here at the Australian Open. A real fan favourite. Zheng Qinwen opening up the proceedings. Last year's finalist. Really coming off a wonderful year where she was able to capture the gold medal for China at the Olympics.
$15. $13. $14.
Just like we saw Zheng changing the return position, I feel like we'll see Todoni do the same, considering she just can't get a read on where the placement's heading.
Let the serve.
Untroubled so far on serve. Qinwen.
3 games over.
And it's just so great to have that weapon, that serve. If you haven't played an event yet, this is your first round, you're defending a lot of points, to just keep yourself in the match until you find your rhythm, and it's just really great to see, and you can see how it gives her confidence to have that serve that bails her out.
White pass.
Nicely handled, although this is a drop shot that Qinwen will want to play again. Oh, Oh, the speeds from Todoni so far today have just been outstanding. You always know that she's going to hit it big, but I'm equally interested in the fact that Zhang Qinwen's gone a bit slower, a bit more conservative at the beginning of this match.
It
was 109 average for Zheng on the forehand, which is usually, you know, her biggest weapon. She likes to unleash on that one, and the top spin rate from her will definitely be higher than her opponents today, but just feeling her way through this. And that's definitely rain.
Yeah, a little, well, not little, but a rain shower passing through. So when a player gets a result, those points stay on there for 12 months, Petco, and just talk us through, after 12 months they drop off, and is it stressful for a player knowing that you got some big points coming off, just like we're seeing here with Qinwen, and just absolutely hammering down outside? Sorry, Petco, it is hammering down outside at the moment.
Tough right now if you've got a ground pass.
I think she's gotten used to it with how she's played at the end of the year after that gold medal. She's really sort of found a consistency that was unseen before in her game, but I do think it must be on your mind the first time you're defending this amount of points, and it is the first time for her to defend a final at a Grand Slam.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant from Qinwen. Just starting to change gears here.
30-40.
And look at the height difference with that last forehand from Qinwen. Just changed it up. More height over the net, and it just allows her to cut the angle off on the following backhand.
Oh,
that wide serve's been great, though.
Yeah. Great response. Down break point.
Well, previous point on the ad side as well, she went for the same one. So as you start to think about the patterns of play, what someone's doing when they're under pressure, maybe Zhang Qinwen can make a half step further out with the return position.
Advantage Zheng.
Oh, it's just long. So the first break of the match for the number 5 seed, Zhang Qinwen, leads 4-3 first set.
Zheng leads 4 games to 3.
Well, she was getting better and better each game as she's just started to settle in nicely here on Rod Laver Arena. And that'll be a real confidence boost to get the break here.
Yeah, and sitting courtside, you can just see the tension in the muscles melting away in Qinwen, while outside other things are melting away, clearly.
One of those days.
Oh, goodness.
It's been a good start, though, for Todoni. always admire a young player coming out on the big stage. Sometimes you see them overplay, but I think she's done a good job of really playing well within herself. Well, it's one of those Melbourne days here. Just a little bit of a storm has just rolled through Melbourne Park, and it is take cover.
A little bit of a storm.
No, it's absolutely teeming down outside, and that's the beauty of being scheduled and, of course, playing on Rod Laver Arena. The roof was closed at the very start of this match. They were predicting this little bit of a, well, storm to roll on through, so it won't affect the big show courts here at Melbourne Park today.
And inside, Rod Laver has just become a lot busier in the stands, as well as everyone who was outside having a little mingle, seeing what's new in the fan areas. They've come streaming in for cover. Out of 13 points won so far on the first serve for Qinwen Zheng. And that's the kind of feeling when you're down a break and you can start to overplay, where Zheng making a few more balls, extending the rallies. Just 3 or 4 times now we've seen Todoni go for too much. I've got to say the first serve percentage from Zheng so far has been phenomenal. 88% right now. Doesn't get much better than that on the first serve.
Only missed 2 first serves all match. Yep, well done. Consolidates her break, just 1 game away from taking the opening set. And as Qinwen always does, she changes rackets a game after the new balls, which is not that common. Most players change a fresh restring when it is the actual change of balls, so she likes to wait 1 more game.
I think it makes a lot of sense because you get the new balls, they play a lot different. This tournament, it has seemed like they're fluffing up quite a lot, so then you bring in new strings as well. And it's maybe just too much of a change from game to game.
It's around now. If you're Anca Todoni, you just want to try and keep this close. You want to just try and do everything you possibly can to hold serve and at least ask the question of Qinwen to try and feel a bit of stress and pressure closing out a set on serve.
15.
I really like her forehand cross-court. It seems like with the cross-court shot, she just comes over the top of the ball slightly more. And it feels like a much safer shot. Some of those forehand lines have just been flying off her racket.
$15.30.
There's a lot to like about her overall game. Got a good serve and gets a lot of free points. Very solid off the forehand and backhand. Can't see why she hasn't got a very bright future.
Well, this time last year, didn't play Aussie Open qualies. Was playing a few challenges out in India. Was ranked about 240 in the world. So that's a big jump already in 12 months.
I think that's a sign of a great player. Well, certainly a very good player when you can improve your ranking so rapidly like she has at a young age. I think that's the good players. They tend to rip up through the rankings very quickly. They don't get stuck at a challenger level or the lower tier events.
But when you look at her results across 2024, you can see that the best ones have come on clay, which when you look at initially her game style and you think, oh, she's a big hitter, big serve, big forehand, you would think hard courts.
Yeah, the faster surface.
But then it is the movement that's just holding her back slightly, where clay you just have more time.
Advantage Todoni.
Caught out of position at that let court. It's such a weapon, the forehand down the line from Qinwen. Just burns players. Definitely the easiest shot for most players is the forehand cross court, but just seems to get behind and really shapes it beautifully. Great depth. Thunder around. Are you getting that courtside, Petko, the thunder?
Advantage.
Oh,
Zheng.
I am. If this continues, I won't be courtside much longer.
All right, set point here for Zhang Qinwen. It's been a good start to her Australian Open campaign.
Juice.
And those are the shots as she plays her way into the tournament. Should she come through this match, that is, that you would just expect her to lock in on. We won't see too many of those errors. It's just finding that match rhythm again, realising on the big points, especially a set point, that return needs to be back in play.
Advantage. Todoni.
And it's the only part of her game that still looks a bit rusty is the return game. From the baseline, once the rally gets going, you can almost not tell that she hasn't played in a while, Qinwen. Just on the return, you can still tell she's looking for a perfect position for herself.
And the return is the hardest thing to find the rhythm on.
Jeez.
If you haven't played in a few weeks, you come out here and you're trying to go for the same sort of shots that you were at the end of the season, which felt so easy 6 weeks ago. And the timing changes. Obviously, they've never played each other, so then you're thinking about the positioning, how far back behind the baseline to drop. And we've seen a bit of everything from Zhang Qinwen today. Big point to come out of. A moment there for Zhang Qinwen where she could have committed to coming forward, but Todoni catches her out with the big forehand cross court. That was the shot there. I thought maybe follow it in. Interestingly, Zhang's position on the second serve return at the start of the match was right up on the baseline.
Oh, brilliant. Bit of showboating.
Juice.
Yeah, the return position on the second serve was almost on the baseline, but just these last few games, deciding to drop back even further, wait for the second serve to drop all the way.
Advantage. Todoni.
Her life would have really changed for Qinwen. Everywhere she goes, she's just so recognisable and incredibly famous now, especially back in her home country. Trains in Barcelona just to get out of the spotlight a little bit. Oh, that's well done from Anca Todoni. Just staying in touch in this first set. And it is Zhang, 5-4, first set.
Zheng leads partner of the film.
Have you seen enough of Todoni to get a sense of where she might land in the rankings this year or 12 months down the track?
I see a really nice future for her. I do think she's a top 50 player very soon, and I do think I agree with Laura very much on the movement. Sometimes when she's actually really smart about her movement. I think she knows she's not the quickest around the court, so oftentimes when she's hit a ball wide, she just turns around and runs straight into the other corner. And so when you catch her on the wrong foot,
so it's been an entertaining start here at the Australian Open, and it's day one here, and it's Qinwen coming out to serve for the opening set. Just the one break so far. What is a bit of a stormy day here. We've had a big storm just roll through Melbourne Park in the last half an hour or so, so the roof is closed.
Oh, the thunder again.
15 of.
Can hit all four corners. Qinwen with her serve, even on the second, does prefer on this juice side to go for the slice out wide. Probably 75% of the time.
40.
And then she does that.
$40.50.
Well, maybe these are the moments when you haven't played a lot of matches in the previous few weeks that it's just hard to just close it out. She's had a couple of set points and still has one more.
back to deuce. What a screamer of a backhand line there.
Oh, so much to like about her fight here, and I think she's showing the fact that she is confident, has played 3 qualifying matches and is match tough. Just making that one extra shot, just tightening things up here, back to deuce.
As you were saying, you maybe tighten up when you're trying to close out the set, but also you play a bit more conservatively, and that's what we've seen. Zheng just taking some pace off. We saw it earlier in the set, even with the comparison in ground stroke speeds between both players, but that second serve just sitting up nicely. Chance.
Jeez.
One of the worst feelings in tennis, I reckon, when you've got a break point and you miss the return. It's like, what could have been? And it's all my fault.
Yeah, definitely some hesitation in the footwork of Zheng right now. You could just see her, the first steps after the serve were not as dynamic as in the last 20 minutes or so.
A little fight back here from Todoni, just asking the question of last year's finalist. And that does make it interesting. 5-all.
Oh, had 40 love as well. Just a very unexpected drop-off in intensity there from Zheng Qinwen. The first serve percentage dropped. It's now sitting at just over 70%, where we were up at 88% halfway through that set. Just took some pace off the ground strokes too, which just allows Todoni to play her brand of tennis, go for her shots even more.
You see it in the past 40 years, qualifiers are 1 and 45, so just one qualifier has beaten someone ranked in the top 5. That player was Ana Ivanovic. I've been impressed with her body language, Todoni. Gee, she just seems so comfortable on the big stage and feels like there's a sense of belonging in these matches.
That's why there is the cliche of you don't want to play a qualifier in the first round.
Oh, it's a great draw.
Thank you.
Others will say it's a great draw.
Playing some brave tennis.
Certainly wonderful to watch, and I think you're right, Laura. I mean, if you qualify,
14
anytime you qualify at a
love.
slam, that has significance. I mean, it's 3 matches, it's emotional. We've seen some of the Australians, Kim Birrell, the reaction when she qualified. It's tough to do. And if you can get through, it does give you an enormous amount of confidence. And that's what we're seeing here from Todoni.
And up until that last backhand, that's what we haven't seen from
14-15.
Zheng Qinwen. Just the acceleration into the shot for the past 2 games has been missing. All of a sudden, she unleashes a bit more, and you see the difference that it makes.
You're so right, Laura. I'm sitting courtside, and was the first shot in at least 8-9 minutes where she really went for it.
Great minds think alike.
Fourteen, 30.
It's the serve out wide. That's done a lot of damage today. And that is a great fight back from Todoni. Moves ahead, 6-5, first set. Just look at the serve there. It's a free-flowing motion. And it just, at the ripe old age of 20, there's a lot more improvement to come. So we're seeing a player on the up here. Just 1 game away. So as you can see outside there, that's the player restaurant on the right. And as you can see, a lot of the merchandise areas and sponsorship areas just probably a little full at the moment with the rain going on outside, but just starting to dissipate a little bit. So a real shift in momentum here on Rod Laver Arena. Qinwen just about 10 minutes ago was up 5-3 and looking like it was a formality to go on and win that opening set. Lost her serve when she tried to close it out after being up 40-love. And now finds herself down 6-5 first set.
It was just an unusual drop in intensity for someone who won 50 matches last year. So even for the top 5 players, coming back after an extended amount of time off or an extended training block, it's still tough.
It's really tough, and that's what I pose a question to both of you too. I'm sure both of you have played enormous amounts of Grand Slam tennis, but I'm sure you both would have wanted to play a match coming into Grand Slam matches.
Yeah, this is why when we go back to what we were saying earlier, that a few people have done it, but majority of the time it's on the ATP side because they've just got that extra bit of freedom with a best of 5 scenario to play themselves into form. In a best of 3, it's tough, as we're seeing here. It can change. all of a sudden in the first round you're down a set and feeling uncomfortable with your tennis. You're maybe half an hour away from a loss.
That has silenced the crowd. So 2 set points now for Todoni.
Needed the first serve there.
13-14.
That first serve percentage continues to drop, now below 70%.
Such a difference, isn't it? When you get that first serve in play, as you're alluding to, Laura, she's a completely different player.
Advantage, Todoni.
Third chance.
What a way to save a set point. I think that's where it's quite tough as well to have an interim coach, someone who's filling in. You can obviously work on the same messaging, and I'm sure he's in constant contact with Zheng's actual coach, Per Rieber, but in these moments, you just don't have that same relationship.
That's great footwork. Patient. Just setting up the point beautifully.
Advantage, Zheng. First.
resilience shown from Qinwen, facing 3 break points on her own serve. It's to be decided in a tiebreak.
6 games all. 7.
And a big come on there. Just looking at the forehand average speed again, that was actually an increase from Zheng. Midway through that set, she was at 109. And so she is trying to release a bit more on that side, but I think just still playing slightly tentatively. And you'd want to see that acceleration pick up if she's to come through this tiebreak on Todoni's side of the net. No such hesitation.
And just compared to the moment when Qinwen was serving for the set at 5-3, there is a few more Ks per hour on her ground strokes right now. She is hitting the ball a little bit more through the ball. I think there is still space to improve for her, but she is hitting a bit harder than she was 10 minutes ago.
Good timing for me to say it, given the point that we've just seen, but actually Zheng's backhand is now faster on average than her opponent's, whereas, you know, beginning of the set, halfway through the set, it was Todoni, even on the backhand side, that was accelerating more into the shot. She did a pretty decent job of it on that return, though, didn't she?
Yep, sure did. Needs to stay in touch here, Todoni. I think, Laura, when you look at Todoni's ground stroke speeds, and it doesn't look like she's overplaying, not like coming out of a shoe swinging too hard. It looks like it's controlled power.
It's controlled. Sometimes that forehand line will fly, which is why on the first point of the breaker you kind of think go back cross court one more time. But yeah, overall,
looks very good cross
really
court.
Natural ball striker, isn't she?
Sure. Qinwen Zheng.
big moment to drop a serve like that. Just to go into the change of ends here with some breathing room, given all that's happened in the last 20 minutes or so.
Well, she's held her composure really well. I think the fact that she was really in control, had 3 set points on her own serve, and it was looking like a formality. She didn't panic when she had to face 3 on her own serve. She was able to land that first serve consistently. She's really shown some champion qualities when she's needed to so far. Fabulous serve, such a weapon. Electronic line calling in play here at the Australian Open, and as you can see, this is one of her favoured serves, the slider wide. Just gets such great shape, and watch this explode off the court, making it unreturnable. So, had to face a little bit of a scare just 5 minutes ago or so, but class has prevailed here, and this has been a fabulous response and tiebreak for Qinwen. 4 set points.
An hour and 17 minutes on the clock. It's maybe not the sort of first set of the tournament that she would have wanted, but as long as you get through it,
well, maybe
really
she,
care.
Yeah, I think on the plus side of things, maybe she's just playing herself into a bit of form as well. This last 5 or 10 minutes, she's certainly just taken it up a notch. Oh, it's dropped in. Well, can you believe it? Anca Todoni certainly cut it here, 7 games to 6.
Scary thought for Todoni is that Zhang Qinwen is 20 wins, 3 losses after winning the first set of Grand Slam events. And since Wimbledon, 24 wins, 1 loss after winning the first set. That's across the tour. So when she gets into the flow of things, an incredibly tough opponent to come through, but Todoni continuing to go for her shots here. Can kind of tell herself she did nothing wrong. Andrea, do you see that miss as more of a footwork thing? It just to me looks like she does the right moves to get into position, but then forgets to do the fast little steps ahead of the shot.
Yes, I would say so. And I saw a similar thing happen when she had that 5-4 4D love 3-set points. When she slows down her footwork after the serve, it sort of transfers to the entire body. She slows down her arm, her wrist. There's not as much acceleration as there is usually, and I think it starts from the footwork up.
Breakpoint opportunity here for Todoni. Oh, such self-belief in these big moments in matches from Qinwen. The ability to deliver something special.
Ooh.
Ms. Zheng is overseas. Let's see the replay on the service line, please.
That one flew.
Yeah.
Advantage Zheng.
So a good start here from
First
Qinwen.
game, second set.
Let's offer a break point.
It's still not her best tennis, though.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Glimpses.
Yeah, and just when you see in the last game, catching the ball toss a few times, the serve motion in the past has looked disjointed. She's done incredible work on that shot to just create some more fluidity throughout the swing. But to me, it's just looking like it's on the way. And it is so hard.
It's about getting through, isn't it, from here, this opening round?
It's one of these matches where as long as you can get a win, it doesn't matter.
No, totally. And I think the confidence you'll get from getting through, knowing you faced a good opponent with some difficult moments, that's what's going to give Qinwen the confidence. what an opportunity or a learning curve here for Todoni. There's no better place. You get to come out on centre court. You learn a lot about where you're at, what the level needs to be. It's such invaluable in your tennis journey to get these chances when you're a young player.
Oh, Todoni is so young in terms of tennis, 20 years old, but so often you see 15-year-olds playing Grand Slams. That wasn't the case for her. 2024 was her first time at all of these events, and this is her first year at the Aussie Open, and she's been able to qualify.
And I think that's a really important point also for Zheng to realize after the match if she does go through, because she didn't miss crazy shots. She just pulled back a little, and because Todoni is at peak confidence and is playing very well, she didn't give her anything. It could have just as well ended with a return mistake, you know, at 40 love.
No, she's showing a good fight here, Todoni, and I just think there's a lot to like about her game. She doesn't. Technically, she's quite sound. There's no major glitches in the technique or any parts that she needs to go off and refine. I think she's going to evolve and get a lot better.
And even Todoni's movement has improved since I saw her over the summer playing Coco Gauff on grass. I think judging anyone's movement on grass is always a bit harsh.
Laura, I think my movement digressed with the time over on grass.
Yeah, it makes you look slower. It makes you look uncoordinated, unless you're Djokovic or Alcaraz or Coco Gauff who can slide. It's tough out there.
Advantage, Zheng.
Nice little run of games here for Qinwen. Just gets the opening break.
Zheng leads 2 games to 1.
Her fans will be happy with how she's been able to handle the last half an hour.
Got plenty of them.
Plenty.
I mean, you were at the Olympics. It must have been pandemonium.
It was. I don't want to call it chaos because it was controlled chaos, but the number of fans grew with each match, and she'd be the first one to say that it was a different level of attention that she received after the Aussie Open final and the Olympic final. It's just a much bigger deal. Missed it. And now that she's got this comfort break in the second set, you do kind of get the feeling that Qinwen's going to run away with things. Actually, after that Olympic final, she went back to China rather than going straight to the US for the hard court swing to be part of the medal ceremony. And that was the first glimpse that she felt, oh, this is actually quite a big deal.
Yeah, it would have been incredibly overwhelming.
Let for serve.
I love it when she's going cross-court, Todoni. I think that's when she's at her very best. Gives herself lots of space, really gets a strong follow-through.
It's dropped in again.
15.
She really does generate a lot of spin and revolution on that forehand side, doesn't she, Laura? Just always dipping at that last moment, and it's caught Todoni a few times today.
Yeah, the top spin rate is one of the highest on the WTA Tour, and you can just see with the height over the net that she's able to achieve. Even with the forehand line, it's got room, it's got a high percentage.
And depth. Great depth a lot of the time too on the forehand, so that's very hard to defend against.
And I will say I don't blame Todoni because I'm courtside and it oftentimes does look like it's going to fly long, the ball, and it just drops in the last moment. That's how much rotation she gets on the ball. It's really fun to watch actually from the side.
That's it.
Just spreading the court, and why wouldn't you love it? 7-6-3 love, Zheng.
Get it, please, okay?
trainer has been called to court. Just heard the umpire informing Qinwen. It's because I was trying not to kill his focus, and then he was looking at me, and I was like, don't know what to do here.
Yeah. Okay, so the medical timeout has finished. We'll just stick around the WTA trainers who are working here, the physios, just to keep an eye on things possibly at the next change of end. So
yeah, they can come back on one more time. Very casual footwork up to that short ball. Physio Shady next to interim coach.
Signs of lower back complaint on the board in the second set here, Todoni.
And interesting to see that Todoni's coaching team has decided to sit up in the stands. Some coaches prefer the aerial view compared to being right on court with their player.
Certainly hasn't come out of this medical timeout with the footwork that we had seen a little earlier from Qinwen. She's just a little flat.
The casual footwork again. And just interesting to see her drop into slice all of a sudden.
13.
They're the returns you have to make, don't you?
Yeah, it's happened a handful of times where you just want it so badly, and Todoni goes for the biggest shot with the second serve return and wants the free point, but it's so much more important to just keep it in play. I say that as someone who missed a lot of second serve returns in my life.
14-13.
That's a bit of a gift, isn't it? So Qinwen will enjoy this
Zheng
lead.
leads 4-1.
It's a set and 4-1 second set.
Sometimes we just need to see the possible and what we thought impossible, to remind us to be bold, to climb higher. It doesn't matter what your next move is, as long as you make it. What's your next move? Kia, movement that inspires.
Time.
Well, that's a good sign outside as the rain has stopped and things just starting to clear. The clouds are lifting. They are expecting play on around 3 o'clock local time here on the courts that are not covered, but on the covered courts here, it's play as per usual.
Average second serve return speed has really picked up for Qinwen, and I feel like that has to do with what she's done with her positioning. She's dropped further back behind the baseline, is letting it drop, and then can accelerate into the shot without feeling the pressure of being up on the baseline. We're seeing a bit more forward momentum from her off the split step too. So even though she's starting really far back here, she still ends the point with a bit more pressure.
$30-15. 30.
So it's about now. Unfortunately, you'd imagine Qinwen would be very keen to try and wrap this up here. It's nearly been 2 hours on court. That's dominant.
Zheng.
So she continues
Zheng
on
leads 5 games.
with the roll on Qinwen. 7-6-5-1, a chance to serve her way into the second round here at the Australian Open.
Has just settled into the match the longer it's gone on, but an hour and 55 minutes, it's not been easy by any stretch of the imagination. They set points in that first and has just found a lot more consistency as the match has gone on.
Love 50. Let seconds.
It's very tough against these top players to sustain the level. As we creep to the 2-hour mark, you can just see Todoni's struggling to hang in the rallies, to make it physical. And that makes you want to overplay at times.
So 2 match points here for Qinwen.
Zheng.
What a way to wrap up her first round.
Set of 7-6, 6-1.
Does it in style. Qinwen through safely. 7-6, 6-1.
Just found her level as the match went on. It was a very rocky road in the first set, and swings of momentum went back and forth, but just found her level when it mattered most. Just under 2 hours, and I don't think she'll mind that at all, given that she had no matches leading into the tournament. You want as much match time as possible, just to get a feel for the rhythm again, just to find your best level on those juice points, on those break points, and definitely saw a lot of good things from Todoni today. She was a beautiful ball striker from the back of the court, had a lot of belief in her game, but just was outmaneuvered on the baseline of the movement at times. That's still the one area that she could improve on, but such a young career against such an experienced opponent today.
We'll see a lot more of this young lady. What an experience to get onto Rod Laver Arena.
Welcome back to Rod Laver Arena. A first round is never easy of a Grand Slam, especially when you are the defending champion, not the champion, but defending finalist. What are your thoughts on your tennis and this whole match?
Yeah, like you say, the first match is always not easy, especially I think she's playing really good, but I was doing a bit stupid mistake at 5-4, 40 love for me, and then I don't know what's happened there, and she played really good in that moment, but I'm just happy get through the match, winning the tiebreak, and start to find my rhythm. It's always not easy, but I want to say thanks for all the crowd who come to support me. I really enjoyed playing here in Melbourne.
You have an incredible crowd support here. So many fans that you made last year here. And I have to ask you, you saved set points in the first set. You always seem so calm, so cool, so collected in these moments under pressure. Tell us your secret. How do you do it?
I think it's just trying to focus on the present. Don't think about, oh, I lose the last point or this is set point for her, because she saved so many set points as well, so I believe I can. Well, you think I am calm on court, but if you check the camera there when I'm facing to the fans, maybe my face is not so calm. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I try to be always calm on court, but if I need, I would like to show more my energy.
Well, we are very impressed by your coolness on court, as you can tell. And I have to ask you, it all started here last year with the final, but then you won the gold medal and you went on to play better and better and better. You're a huge star now, not only back home in China, but in the entire world. How has it changed for you to play these matches with so much attention on you?
Of course, there start to be more and more pressure, but in the same time, they are pushing me to become a better person and better athlete. And I think I deal good with the pressure, and I like to play with the pressure, like what Billie Jean King said, pressure is the privilege, and I love this sentence. So let's keep going playing with pressure.
Well, we love to have you back. Zhang Qinwen into the second round, everybody.